get somewhere safe. Did anybody hear me?
Let's go! This way!
Tony! No!
This way, hurry!
Why did you let him in our home? We have no idea who's after him.
Our target for this year's Purge is hiding in your home. You have 1 hour to find him and give him to us, or we'll kill all of you.
Thank you for taking part in The Purge. For the next 20 minutes, this will be a good film. For the remaining 60, this is going to be some old bullshit of a fucking movie. Oh, man.
So...
I need to purge... In this review, I need to purge my feelings of The Purge.
Now, some of you might be asking, what is The Purge, Arcano? Oh, Arcano at the mic, joining with me is...
Jeff.
I phrased that wrong. Jeff, as always, my co-host. And still a special guest star that we will not mention.
Hell yeah.
So anyway, we just got out of The Purge.
This is going to be my special guest.
There we go, special guest star.
Woo!
We just got out of Purge, and this is a movie that I was actually looking forward to. It's a home invasion film about this family. It's all set in the future in 2022. And there's hardly any crime in America. Unemployment is at 1%, and it's all because of this new thing called The Purge. And what it is that once a year, everyone is given total freedom to break the laws. You do whatever you want, and there will be no consequences whatsoever. You can't kill certain officers, but that's about it.
No, you can't kill like high government officials.
Yeah,
that's like the
You
main
can't use more than class
4 weapons,
which
so
they don't
no,
fucking clarify.
So I'm assuming they meant no anti-tank guns or something like
fucking
that.
bazookas and shit.
Yeah. So that's it. And this family, head of the household, played by Ethan Hawke, his wife Lena Headey, and their 2 kids, whoever the fuck they are.
I do know.
Yeah. They're like, all right, well, we're just gonna hold ourselves down, lock up the house, until the kid notices there's a man outside looking for help, desperately looking for help.
He's screaming, please, they're gonna kill me.
Please, dear God, help me. So the kid has a soft heart, opens up the security system, lets this guy in.
Like a piece of shit.
Which would be okay, but a couple minutes later, this group of preppy young killers come to the door, and they're like, you gotta release this guy to us because we need to purge. We need to kill this guy. This is our one release, or else we're gonna bust into your house and we're gonna kill all of you.
You don't give this guy to us in 60 minutes. We're bringing something here to knock in this door. We will get into your house. We're gonna kill all of you.
Which, by the way, this house could have been broken into by, I don't know, a sledgehammer, this high-tech defense system. But anyway, that's the gist of the film. Now they gotta survive the Purge, which they shouldn't have been involved with in the first place. Things go wrong.
Yeah, when that guy was saying, please, they're gonna kill me, he was not lying.
Yeah. So, there is some good, I suppose, and there is some bad.
Not some, a lot.
There is a lot of bad. I'm gonna start this off. I guess I should mention that, yes, I did have high expectations for this because I really like survival films and home invasion films, as that might sound bad, but I just like the whole concept of a family needing to survive and any way they possibly can, a kill or be killed situation. Other films like this would be this grindhouse film called Fight for Your Life. It's pretty good.
Pretty self-evident title.
Yeah.
Self-explanatory.
The Hills Have Eyes remake. Bunch of different movies you've seen like this. Panic Room,
yeah.
which did this way better.
Yeah, it did.
But
with
much better.
Kristen Stewart being sort of in
it.
Sort of in it. She was the daughter.
But anyway, I had high hopes because of that. And for about 15 to 20 minutes, this reached those hopes. It had some pretty cool action scenes having to do with the survival of this family. And then it started to get into their whole metaphorical, we have a message bullshit that totally weighed this film down. And
unnecessary subplot.
Completely
bullshit.
unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary subplots.
Very unnecessary.
we recorded a spoiler discussion because there's a lot to go into that, and we don't want to spoil it on the review. But in order for us to get into it, we need to talk about it in detail. So listen to that. But
anyways,
that's like the only good in this. I thought Ethan Hawke did a pretty good job. The other characters aren't really given much to do, and the main villain of the film, like the leader of the gang, he was on and off for me. He was very Michael Pitt in Funny Games. But
I like the guy. I thought he had a certain charisma to him.
Can I fucking talk before I fucking kill you?
Man, I'm out of here.
But his dialogue was so weak that I just didn't give a shit. I didn't really find him that intimidating. I thought he wasn't really sure, like, his motivation. Like, oh, should I be kind of charming and smiling in this scene, or should I try to be intimidating? Like he never found this middle point that worked.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Not just that, but he establishes the fact that, like, oh, we are young, educated people. We just need a release. But he doesn't really talk educated. He uses maybe 2 big words in his vocabulary, and he never acts in a way where you think he's this really educated person.
We must purge on this homeless
he repeats a lot of
swine.
this shit.
Yeah, I was thinking that. He repeats a lot of
He
this
says
shit.
homeless
And
swine like several times.
Not only does he repeat words, but he'll, like, switch words in a sentence. So, for instance, let's say...
You're a really bad, ugly man. You're a really ugly, bad man.
Exactly. Like that. There's a lot of that stuff.
Also, they say purge as many times as they probably say. Well, maybe not, but it's
They
kind of
say
like,
it as many times as Christian Bale says, "I'm John Connor," and fucking more.
or as Leonardo DiCaprio says, "Old sport" in The Great Gatsby. Like, we must purge. Let us purge. Are you enjoying the purge? Getting ready for the purge? Come on, we must feast and purge.
We're gonna survive this purge.
What the fuck?
Shit was ridiculous.
But that's the thing I like about it. Those are the only things that I like about this.
I liked the performances. I didn't really think anybody was that bad in the movie. I particularly like
the kid.
Okay, the kid, yeah, but the guy that the kid brings in, I thought was all right. He was
Probably the best actor.
Yeah, he was good.
The,
Ethan Hawke was good.
Who has no name, by the way.
I actually like the guy, the main villain, but I admit, like, as soon as he walked on screen, huge Michael Pitt vibe. Like, they clearly wanted him, but I actually liked him. I realized he didn't quite strike that middle ground, but I thought he was charismatic enough to be like, all right, I can appreciate him on screen.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when there's a point where Ethan Hawke's like, you know what, I might fight. I probably will fight back right now.
Well, he's not. I'll probably fight back. He's like, let's fucking do this.
Let's fucking
I'm
fight
ready
back.
to fucking
Yeah,
kill
you
these
fuck with us, we'll
bastards.
fuck with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And those scenes were really cool. But right then, it just goes into another thing where you're like,
It abandons that. Why would you
It
abandon
completely
the best
abandons
story?
that.
Not just that. The trailer gives a lot away, and it establishes the type of movie it is. And then the movie itself tricks the audiences. It tricks the audience into kind of like, in a way, saying like, "Oh, you thought this was just going to be a survival action movie? No, we're going to have meaning to this." But you know what? Fuck that, because the
meaning that they're trying to do doesn't really work.
It doesn't.
Like, we're not trying to say, like, oh, the trailer sold it wrong. Like, no, the movie has, like, those fuck yeah moments, like, yeah, we'll fight back. But then it goes to this other thing where you're like, you completely dropped that, didn't you?
Jeremiah, was there anything you liked about this?
I liked...
Fuck, I said your name.
Fucking stupid piece of shit.
Hey, it's him.
We'll edit that out.
Alright. The homeless guy and the general idea of the film. That's the 2 things I very much liked about it.
We're not going to edit that out. But go on.
Aside from that,
the fight scene in the billiard room is like it's a great moment in a very in a bad movie.
The fight scene in the billiard room. How about basically the only real fight scene?
Yeah,
because the rest is just people getting killed. Like, bam, bam.
Well, it's predictable. It's more like just like every time someone's in danger, you're like, oh no, someone's gonna rescue them and pop him in the head. And it's like that happened like 3 times. At first time, I might be surprised, but after a few more times, I'm like, No, they're not in danger. Someone's gonna come around and pop that person in the head.
Yeah.
And I really wish there was more good to talk about it. But even like on the technical aspects, this wasn't really filmed well. Everything is too dark. I mean, granted, all the lights are turned off. I mean, they cut the
It is
power.
very dark, yeah.
But for scenes, like, you need to add some sort of lighting to it.
Like,
You need to increase the brightness, something, so that we can actually see what's going on.
There's a scene with the kid where one of the gang discovers him, and I'm like, "What's going on?"
Oh, by the way, another thing they brought up, never brought back, the boy of the family, the son, he has this pretty cool, like, camera thing.
Holy shit! Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna explain what it is exactly, but it's basically a camera. But he says like, "Oh, I added night vision to it." Never comes back in.
Oh my god! I completely forgot about that.
Isn't used once.
I thought they were gonna go for that when they reintroduced the thing, and I was like.
And the times that they needed it, they needed the night vision.
And you know what? They don't really address the whole heart monitor thing.
Yes.
Except, like, it's kind of this weird thing to include for later. Like, what
the
happens?
he's in a tense situation. You think his heart monitor be also?
There's
a scene with the thing that he creates where he's like trying to talk with the signal the homeless man. He could have used night vision. No, it's filmed in the dark, man. We gotta save money.
Yeah. No, but there's a scene where he brings up that this isn't really a spoiler. This is so minor. He brings up this heart monitor that he has. Like, oh, I checked my vitals today, and they never explain why is he checking his vitals. Is there something wrong with him? Is he sick? Nope. It's just to bring something back in the end for a somewhat touching, sad moment. But no, fuck that shit.
Kind of to explain how that works. It's just like, really, you couldn't.
So many wasted things where they focus on stuff and then they never bring it back. But then they also focus on stuff that doesn't need to be in the movie. Like we explained that in our spoiler review, but subplots galore.
This is the review.
Oh, spoiler discussion. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, they subplots galore that lead nowhere.
Nowhere at all.
Nowhere.
It's very like.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be like
one of them leads somewhere, and you're like, the fuck was that about?
And my biggest complaint with this film is the fact that you had a good concept for a home invasion film, which, once again, I like those type of films. And you failed at that. You just completely abandoned the home invasion aspect of this to create some message film that didn't work. And it's also been advertised kind of as a horror film.
It's not
It's
scary.
just jump scares. That's all it is. Just jump scares that are totally predictable, too.
The most predictable jump scares
This is
in
film
the history
school
of horror.
101. This is like paint by numbers filmmaking.
Me and Jeremiah were predicting the scares as they were happening. Like, hey, this is going to happen. I know that's going to happen, man.
Like, hey,
I'm just bracing myself now.
Mom's opening the fridge. Oh, I wonder why they're focused on the door.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like she's going to have to close it sometime soon. Oh, look, there's someone there.
Yeah. And it's a kid, not even a villain.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah. The more, as soon as it finished, I was like, some things I liked, some things I didn't. And then the more, like, on the bus ride over here, me and Jeremiah were talking, I was like, yeah, this was not good.
No, there's so much things that, like,
oh my.
Like, I wish I could have personally rewritten the film myself.
So many plot holes.
And, I mean, it's not like...
Not just plot holes, just like stuff...
comes out with a remake, it'll be better.
It'll be better.
But it's not like we're screenwriters or anything, but it's just like stuff like...
I am studying screenwriting.
Oh, yeah,
but,
well, you're a film...
Yeah,
film
okay, I'm not gonna... But, you know, it's scratch that because I'm not claiming to be, like, an expert.
Yeah, but
so,
some characters are just written so stupid where it's just completely unbelievable. And some plot elements are just never explained. And one of them is huge. One of them is a huge plot element that leads to the main focus of the film. It's centered around the main focus of the film. And because they never explained it, I couldn't buy the whole plot of the entire movie. I couldn't buy The Purge because they didn't include this one thing that they needed to include.
Sure.
But once again, going to the bad writing, the fucking son in this film was such a piece of shit. None of this would have happened if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, you know
and
what?
then even after he realizes his mistake, that like, oh my god, we might die now, he's still trying to defend himself like, we can't let him out. We can't feed him to these animals. Dad, what are you doing? No. You gotta survive. What the fuck are you doing?
You fucking dumb.
Are you fucking stupid? Are you retarded? Like, seriously, what the fuck is up with these people who are too stupid to believe?
It's not even like, it's like you watch this and it's like, this kid's retarded. But it's just bad writing.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm going to be lazy and just make this kid
They
moronic.
could have done like a morality thing, like, well, I don't want to, I feel sorry for this guy, and I've gotten to know him a little bit.
Well, that was the thing, but he didn't get to know him. He just feels sorry because he's seeing... And the thing is, like, it's not even like he's a really, really young kid who doesn't understand anything of
like
what's
5
going
years
on.
old and shit. No,
he should be able to understand that, hey, you know what? For our own proper safety, we shouldn't do certain things.
But even the writing of the characters also is just like, either, me and Jeremiah were talking about this, either it's Ethan Hawke and Lena Headey, it's Ethan Hawke and Lena Headey, and then there's the preppy kids, and then there's the homeless man. The most identifiable person probably is the homeless man.
Yeah.
Because there are points where Ethan Hawke, like, you start off with him, and you're like, all right, he's a family man trying to do his best, even though, he is a little superficial. Lena Headey's character is just, she's kind of wasted in this. Yeah, she's not written well.
Which is a shame, because I really like Lena
Headey's
especially if
really
anyone's
good.
seen Dredd.
Oh, yeah.
She's great in Dredd. She's great in Game of Thrones.
She's
She's
a good actress.
Oh, yeah, very good actress.
Except for, like, bitch and cry.
Yeah.
This is what she's given to do.
And, okay, so, yeah, there's stuff where Ethan Hawke's, like, near the middle of the movie, you're like, what you're doing right now, am I supposed to connect with you on this? You're the main character.
I can't get behind this, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be, you're supposed to trust him, you're supposed to like him.
You're supposed to trust him, you're supposed to like him. Lena Headey is so underwritten that you don't really attach yourself to her.
Lena Headey can't even understand her husband.
Yeah.
There's one scene, I'm not going to say what happens, but she's like, what have you done? This isn't you. This isn't the man I've loved. A split second later, I was wrong. You were right.
Yeah.
She says that. She basically, I mean, it's paraphrasing, but she basically says,
she says,
you were right the whole time.
Yeah.
And this is like a minute later.
And then you can't attach yourself to the kid because, you're like...
They're flip-flopping.
Yeah, because they don't put the morality element enough to where he could establish something with the homeless guy so you feel his side, like, oh, okay. No, he's just like what you said, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And the daughter, I mean, the closest thing, I guess, is the daughter and the homeless guy, but she all but disappears near the end of the movie.
What? Yeah, you know what? She's responsible.
And the homeless guy, the two most relatable characters in the movie all but disappear.
Yeah. But speaking of, like, written bad, she doesn't even disappear for a good reason. She gives no good reason why she's absent.
And that's another jump scare.
I'm gone. I'm looking for you guys in this really big house, even though I probably should have found you like 5 minutes ago.
I just want to be alone.
No, it's not even I'm looking for you guys. There's a point where they're like right next to each other and she just runs away.
Oh yeah.
No fucking reason.
Oh, I was gonna bring up like, I'm alone now. I just want to find you guys. There you are. And then she disappears again.
Make a separate scene for when shit goes down, so that way they can track different characters.
Yeah. How big is this fucking house?
That's true.
Anyways, that's
I think we've kind of exhausted this.
This film is it's being marketed as one of the first horror films of the summer. There's another similar film coming out later on this year called You're Next. Which has to do with also mass killers.
Which is another one of like
Family House. Can I talk?
I'm sorry.
Explain the thing. I'm gonna fucking purge you right now. But it's another home invasion film that actually looks like it's gonna be pretty brutal. Oh, that's another thing I have to talk about. In order to get the intensity and the fear out of someone in a home invasion movie, I think you have to be somewhat brutal and savage when it comes to the violence. This is pretty tame. I mean, there is blood, there is death, but it's still...
It's atmospherically intense, but not physically intense.
It's nothing that's going to have you turn your head or anything like that.
No drive.
No.
Not even close.
Which is what it needed, because I felt like... you mentioned that you thought this was pretty intense at parts. I didn't think this was intense enough.
I think content-wise and atmospherically, what they imply, you know what it is, hindsight, not really, but in the moment, they lead up to some pretty intense moments where it's you go into a movie like, oh my god, that's really fucked up, But initially, I don't feel comfortable with myself after having maybe watching whatever's going to come up right now. But then it doesn't come up, so it kind of falls short with that.
But what I mean is, like, compared to other home invasion films, and I really hate to compare to different movies, but you kind of have to. You know, the same way we were comparing
that movie.
Yeah, that
Olympus
movie.
Has Fallen to
yeah.
other action movies. We had to do that because guess what? We get a taste of what we like and what should be the kind of like standard for movies like this. So I do have a standard for home invasion films or thrillers in general.
I love thrillers. They may be my favorite genre.
And this is in that category. And they just don't meet that.
Nope.
There are better films than this that this movie does not meet their standards.
Besides a couple fuck yeah moments, they are way too few and far between for such a short movie.
Hour 25 minutes.
With credits, hour 25
it's an
minutes.
hour and 25 minutes, yet it feels like there's a lot of filler.
Yeah.
So it could be there's only really like an hour of actual footage in this.
Man.
And the thing is, it starts out good. It has a really good opening credit sequence where you feel like, oh man, this is going to be kind of fucked up and this is going to be really interesting. This movie is
not subtle in its message. It could have been a good, like...
It's the kind of bullshit you see at, like, outside some fucking corporate building.
Yeah.
Where they have a piece of modern art, and you're like, it's art because it's a giant silver block.
Not just that, but it's a PSA.
Oh, yeah.
It's a public service announcement.
It could have been an interesting, like...
And them trying
satire,
to say... It's trying to have these metaphors of society today and stuff like that. But it's just too heavy-handed for me to
Way
even
too
give a
heavy-handed.
shit.
Way too heavy-handed.
Not only is this a bad movie, it is severely disappointing, and I don't recommend it at all. Unless you just... No, you know what? No, not unless. I really don't recommend this movie. 1 star or 1 eye out of 4.
Yeah, it's... Oh my god, let's go... Just to recap, it's predictable, it's not scary, it's... the message and the metaphors are way too heavy-handed, and at the end of the day, it's way too short for a movie that should have, to develop all these loose ends, they should have made a longer fucking movie. An hour and 25 minutes? Are you...
They should make a lot. They should have made a good movie.
There are movies like Chronicle and Detective Block that are about that same length, but they cram in a lot of stuff, and it's not a moment lost. This is a lot of moments lost. Where you're like, what the fuck? Where did that go?
Anyways, what would you give its rating?
1.5. Just don't see it.
I would give it a half. It's just meh.
Half Cyclops and Black Zeus came up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I can't do that.
I can't.
You know what
this
type
movie
of,
broke him.
You know what type of movie I would have rather seen than this?
What?
If the plot was like, what would you do for a Klondike bar?
We're gonna make it through tonight, and everything is gonna be okay.
Nothing is ever going to be okay again.